Call the meeting to order of the July 9th council meeting for Toms River Township. Let's rise for a salute of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is convened in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey. Let the official minutes reflect that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publishing a notice in the Asbury Park Press on Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, the Press of Atlantic City and the Star Ledger, and also forwarded to the Toms River Times, Toms River Patch, and WOBM News on Monday, January 6th, 2020. And thereafter posting same on the Town Hall Bulletin Board for such notices, and filing same with the Township Clerk, pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Township Council on Friday, January 3rd, 2020. The meeting dates have also been posted on the Township webpage. For this evening, since we're doing another virtual meeting, anyone that has from the general public that's going to have questions on the consent agenda, a public hearing on an ordinance, or just for public comment in general, we're going to ask you to please email your questions to questions@tomsrivertownship.com. In there, we're going to need the following information: your name, your address, your town, and also your phone number. At that time, you'll be provided with a response email, and there will be a phone number there for you to call in. If we have issues with it, we'll be able to call you back and provide you with a different phone number. That will be the process for the final read, the consent agenda, and public comment. We have a roll call, please. Councilwoman Yurick.
Here.
Councilman Kopp.
Here.
Councilman Latano.
Here.
Councilman Roderick.
Councilman Roderick had reached out to all of us about 5 o'clock tonight to indicate that he was not feeling well. And we indicated that we would move for an excused absence, so I'll do that at this time.
Councilman
Second.
Gagan, I'll second that.
Oh, sorry. You got it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Councilman Turnbach.
Here.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Here.
Council President Maruka. Present. First item, the approval of the minutes of May 26, 2020.
Councilman Turnback, I'll move the minutes.
Second, Councilman Gagan.
Motion made by Councilman Turnbach, seconded by Council Vice President Gagan. Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kopp.
Yes.
Councilman Latano.
Yes.
Council President Maruka. Yes. No honoring resolutions or presentations tonight. So we'll move on to number 7 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, amending and supplementing section 383-5A, subsection 8B, pro shop fees of chapter 383, Parks Municipal of the Township Code to amend the cost of figure skate guards and terry covers. This is a final reading. This is a public hearing and a final reading on this ordinance. Anyone from the public that would like to comment on this ordinance, please send your question to questions@tomsrivertownship.com, and please include your name, address, town, and a phone number. We will keep the public hearing open for a few minutes, and we're going to move on to our consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If a discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately. Let's just open up the consent agenda for anyone from the public. Again, the protocol will be the same. If you have a question on any of the items, you're going to email your question to questions@tomsrivertownship.com and include the information of your name, address, town, and also a phone number on that. Council, for time-wise, for the public hearing on the final read and also for the consent agenda, we're going to go down to reports next. We're going to go a little bit out of order so we give the public time to comment. Okay. We have a motion to remove the reports into the record.
Move the reports.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach,
Yes.
Councilman Cobb,
Yes.
Councilman Latano,
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan,
Yes.
Council President Maruka. Yes. Next, we will do, pass the bills. Do I have a motion?
Move the bill list, Councilman Turnbach.
A second, Councilman Gagan.
Motion made by Councilman Turnbach, seconded by Council Vice President Gagan. Councilman Turnbach.
Abstain from PO 20-2852, payable to the magistrates. PO 20-485, payable to Law Office of Siddle, Holzapfel, and Zabarski. PO 20-2301 and 20-2321, payable to Law Office of Dasty McGuckin, my local attorney in town. I have conflicts with all of those. Yes to the balance.
Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes to all.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Abstain from PO 19-00248, 20-02300, and 20-02323, payable to Remington and Vernick Engineers, and abstain from PO 20-02852, only item 16 as it pertains to recreation salaries. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Cobb.
I need to abstain from the following: 20-02302, 20-0230 or 20-02542, 20-02543, 20-02544, 20-02545, 20-02546, and 20-02548, all payable to Owen and Little Associates. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Latano.
Yes, with the following abstentions. 19-03911, payable to O'Donnell Stanton and Associates, and 20-02613, payable to Salzarella Masonry. I have a conflict. Yes to the balance.
Council President Maruka. Abstain to PO 20-02301, payable to Dasty McGuckin, Attorney at Law, and 20-02321, payable to Greg McGuckin, Esquire, and 20-02633, payable to NJMBC. I have a conflict with those. Yes to the balance. All right, at this time, we will go back to item number 7 on our agenda, since it is the second reading and the public comment portion of this public hearing on this ordinance on final. Destiny, do we have any comments or any questions from the public?
Not at this time, Councilwoman.
Okay. Since we have no questions or comments on ordinance number 7, council's pleasure.
Move to close the public comments portion of this ordinance.
Second, Councilman Lotano.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move the ordinance on final.
Second,
Was that Councilman Turnbach?
Lotano.
Latano.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Latano. Councilwoman Yurick,
Yes.
Councilman Latano,
Yes.
Councilman Cobb,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach,
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan,
Yes.
Council President Maruka. Yes. Okay. Next is our consent agenda. Anyone on the council have any items on the consent agenda you would like to speak about separately? Anyone on the council? Okay. I would like, I'm sorry.
Council President, can I get a roll call on Resolution E?
Yes. Righty. And is there anyone else? I'd like to pull item L, and I'm just going to have our CFO give us a little background on that when we get to that, Mr. Davidson. Okay. All right. Destiny, is there anyone from the public that has a comment or question on the consent agenda?
None at this time.
Okay.
Move the balance of the consent agenda except for items E and L.
Councilman Turnbach will second that.
Motion made by Councilwoman Yorick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach to move the balance of the consent agenda with the exception of items E and L. Councilwoman Yorick,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach,
Yes.
Councilman Kopp,
Yes.
Councilman Latano,
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan,
Yes.
Council President Maruka.
Yes. And can someone move item E, please?
Move item E. Councilman Gagan.
Second?
Sec-
Sorry.
Second, Councilman Lozano.
Council Vice President Gagan, seconded by Councilwoman Yorick. Council Vice President Gagan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Yorick,
Yes.
Councilman Kopp,
I need to abstain due to a conflict.
Councilman Latano,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach,
Yes.
Council President Maruka.
Yes. And on item L, Mr. Davidson, can you just give us a little background on this for the council and the public, please? Okay. Hello, welcome.
Sorry, having a little technical difficulties. Can everyone hear me now? Okay. So item L, it was, okay. So, in working with our insurance broker over the past several months, in an effort to create as much cost savings as possible while also still providing comparable and good benefits for our retiree eligible retirees. What we're doing is we're pulling out our Medicare eligible retirees from our current health plan and putting them into a different plan. It's a PPO Advantage plan. This is going to allow them to have equivalent, if not better, coverage. And it's going to allow the township to realize significant cost savings in the 2020 budget year and even greater cost savings in the 2021 budget year as we were able to lock in the premium rates for 2021 as well as 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. This is something that the council, I know Councilman Latano and Councilman Kopp had commissioned the efficiency study, but there were some measures we could take prior to that study coming out. This looked like one that had a significant savings for the township. And I want to thank Mr. Davidson and also Mr. Guardian for setting this up and following through so we can see some savings this year for the month through September 1st through December 1st, but not only now, also for next year. And most of our contracts do expire next year, our union contracts, and there will be some negotiation in that as well. So we might be able to see additional savings down the road. So if there's anyone on the council that would like to move item L.
Move item L.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yorick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yorick,
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach,
Yes.
Councilman Cobb,
Yes.
Councilman Latano,
Yes.
Council Vice President Gagan,
Yes.
Council President Maruka.
Yes. And thank you, Mr. Davidson. We appreciate it.
No worries.
And next, we have the elected officials' comments.
Mayor Hill?
Thank you, Council President. The Township Council on their May 26th meeting approved a bond and note sale. I'd like to report that Toms River sold $31 million in general obligation bonds and another $11.8 million in bond anticipation notes on June 3rd, 2020. The debt issuances will allow the township to realize $845,000 in bond debt service savings and $3.5 million in total debt services in the 2021 township budget as compared to the 2020 budget. These are budget savings, not necessarily straight tax savings. The township was recently awarded by Standard & Poor's a long-term AA rating, which is the third highest rating by the agency. This rating allowed the township to secure a true interest cost, annual cost of issuing the bond of 1.38% on the bonds and a trust interest cost of 0.57% on the note. Added since the beginning of the year in our response to COVID-19 pandemic with a hiring freeze and expenditures for only essential services and supplies have kept the township financially stable in a very challenging economic environment. In addition, our personnel division worked in conjunction with our unions on an involuntary 60-day furlough program, which resulted in additional substantial savings to Toms River. These policies were directly responsible for the excellent Standard & Poor's AA rating. As a matter of fact, during the meeting, the Chief Financial Officer, Alex Davison, said they spent about 20% of the time querying Toms River as to what they were doing with regard to the COVID-19 expenses and projected decreases in revenues. And they were very impressed with the actions that the township has taken. And our business administrator had said that in conversations with other towns, oftentimes the state pointed to Toms River as an example. On Monday, I called our Toms River legislative representative from Governor Murphy's office and requested
I believe you got muted.
Mr. Amoruso is
Yep.
going.
Okay, got it. On Monday, I called.
Nope, you got muted again.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. On Monday, I reached out to our Toms River legislative representative on Governor Murphy's office and requested the governor allow high school graduations to take place the 3rd and 4th weeks of June. And we all saw very large demonstrations over the past weekend. As a matter of fact, Governor Murphy was involved in one in Hillside. And I don't see any reason why we can't safely do this on football fields. These high school seniors from our 4 high schools have already lost a third of their senior year due to COVID-19, forgoing proms, sports, school activities, school plays, spring concerts. For some of the students, it will be the end of their formal education, and many students will be starting jobs, leaving for college, or ending military service. They deserve the right to celebrate with their classmates that they've been in school with since kindergarten for 13 years. Let them graduate. There's absolutely no reason. If the data drives the dates, we're there, we can do it, and we can do it safely. I also asked that the governor allow indoor restaurant dining with a reduced capacity of 30 to 40%. We've all learned to take proper precautions in social distancing. If the data truly drives the dates, then there's no logical reason why we can't have graduations and indoor dining safely. I sincerely hope the governor moves on these and doesn't wait till the end of June. But it's important for our seniors to celebrate this graduation. As I said, they've been with classmates for these last 13 years since kindergarten. And I think after all that they've missed, we need to let them have a celebration with their classmates, something that they'll be able to remember. And I just think it's grossly unfair to wait until July for the reasons I stated. So again, hopefully it will happen. I have no idea, but I told her I'm very frustrated with the lack of action on behalf of Governor Murphy. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, for reaching out to the governor and advocating for the class of 2020. I'm sure that they appreciate all your efforts and also their parents. Speaking to people, it is a probably #1 topic here in Toms River right now, that these students do deserve a graduation. Moving on, I'm going to go to Councilwoman York.
Okay. So this past Friday was June 3rd. It was Wear Orange Day. And in the past 2 years, we've done a proclamation for this. It is to raise awareness about gun violence. So it's a discussion about the proper handling and storage of firearms, and also about getting illegal guns off the street. And so we did it virtually this year, and the council and the township wasn't able to participate formally, but I just wanted to make everyone aware that the date came and went. And and today we raised a flag for Pride Month in Toms River, and it's actually national, but today we raised the flag in Toms River. So the flag will be hanging for the month of June out in front of Town Hall, and there's going to be a drive-through Pride event, keeping in mind social distancing and safety, on June 20th from 11 to 1, and it's going to be off of Higher Street. You'll go through the parking lot of Daddy-O's very slowly, and then there will be some online events. These are being sponsored by Exit 82 Theater Company, and if you check their website and their Facebook page, you can see these events posted. So I wanted to also mention that we had a peaceful protest here in Toms River this past Tuesday related to the social unrest that's been going across the country following some unfortunate circumstances. So I want the Black members of our community to know that I hear you and I am with you. I ask that you come to me or any one of the council members I think would welcome your ideas and your concerns. And I know that I will, and I believe everyone else here will do everything we can in our power to help and set things right. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Councilwoman York. Councilman Cobb.
No comments tonight, Council President.
Okay, Councilman Cobb. Councilman Latano.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to speak briefly on capital improvements. So at this time, you might question why we approve certain capital improvements. They seem like large sums of money. So what is a capital improvement real quick? It's a permanent structure, a building, an addition, renovation, something to the town that lasts basically. Tonight, for example, there's a dog park, some Department of Public Works vehicles. Last week we had a police shooting range. These are all capital improvements, as well as millions of dollars in paving that we do throughout the town every year. We spread these payments out because they're large purchases. We spread them out over years in the form of debt, basically. So notes are short-term debt and bonds are long-term debt. Once a project is authorized, that money cannot be spent on anything else. It is illegal to authorize a project and spend that money that is earmarked for the specific reason on anything else. I am new to the council and I did not know this before I took office. I figured a lot of people in the public didn't know this as well. You know, tonight we got some new Department of Public Works vehicles. There's plenty of things that go through. You might say to yourself, you know, why couldn't you have spent that money on, say, overtime for the police, for our peaceful protest we had last Tuesday? You cannot do that. It is illegal. Like I said, I wasn't aware that that was the case, and I'm sure the public, you know, they all deserve to know that that money cannot be spent on something else. Also, lastly, I can't stress enough, I echo Mayor Hill's sentiments about opening our businesses. I really feel like it's past time, and I would like to see Governor Murphy lift pretty much all the restrictions, as long as we do it safely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Letourneau. Councilman Turnbuck.
Thank you, Council President. I want to thank Katrina Garcia, who was the organizer of the peaceful protest on June 2nd of 2020. She did an excellent job at really emphasizing that the message was to be demonstrated peacefully right from the very start. And I think we all came up there to the Kohl's parking lot with a little bit of uncertainty as to what to expect. And Ms. Garcia immediately took control of the situation. We had a wonderful prayer. And I want to thank Prosecutor Billheimer, Chief Little, Deputy Chief Belcher, all of the members of the Toms River Police Department, Warden Sandra Muller, Deputy Warden Joseph Valente, for all appearing at this peaceful protest, walking with the protesters. All of these individuals in our police department really represent the class of law enforcement. And I would describe them to anyone that would ask me as really bridge builders. You have wall builders and you got bridge builders. And bridge builders are people within the community, leaders that reach out to other members of the community to get to know them, to get to know what's important to them, to welcome them. And I couldn't be more proud of everyone that was at that peaceful protest. For the past 152 years, the United States Constitution has held that no state shall deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of laws. The Equal Protection Clause is embodied in the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Simply put, the intention of the Equal Protection Clause was to stop states from discriminating against Black men and women. I've been a lawyer for 18 years. I've taken classes solely focused on constitutional law, and I've made my fair share of constitutional arguments for many courts in this state. And until last Tuesday, when I marched in the peaceful protest for George Floyd here in Toms River, I thought that I completely understood the Equal Protection Clause of the United States Constitution. Yet as we marched down Main Street and shouted, "George Floyd," in response to calls to say his name, I was awakened to the fact that all I know about equal protection is what I see as a white male. I was awakened to the fact that equal protection is not always applied equally to my friends and family that are Black. 152 years later, a constitutional amendment designed to equally protect Black Americans is failing to do what the framers intended. And the only way we're going to change things is to open our eyes to what other fellow Americans experience and push for protection under the law that is truly equal. It has always been the time to see the person and not the color of a man's skin. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Turnbuck. Councilman Gagan, Council Vice President Gagan.
Yes, thank you. Just a few moments to congratulate my fellow council people on, and as well as the administrative staff here at the township on our AA bond rating. In the past, when we've had to make some tough decisions, no one's in favor of a tax hike, furloughs. These are all things that came up for our significant, excellent bond rating, which in turn is going to save us money for the next couple of years to come. Similar to your personal life, if you have a poor credit rating, you're going to pay a higher interest. Again, sometimes we have to make decisions. The right decision is not always popular, and the popular decision is not always right. But this time we made all the right moves. Thank you, Alex, for your hard work, Mr. Guardian, and the other department heads as well. And we're all in this together. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Just a couple things I'm going to touch on that were already spoken about. Councilman Turnbuck talked about our peaceful protest, and I think a lot of our residents were nervous about it because they saw what was happening all over the country. But I got to say, in my heart of hearts, I had faith in the people of Toms River, and I had faith in our police department because you know what? Our police department stands with our community every day. It didn't have to take a protest for them to be out there. They're out there every day serving the people of our community. They are out there reaching out to every race, religion, and creed on a daily basis. And they've worked, and they have been a bridge builder, and they brought this community together. So that made me extremely proud to see our residents come together in a peaceful protest and get a message out that Toms River is open for everyone, and everyone is welcome, and everyone shares the love that this community has. And unfortunately today I was unable to make the flag raising for the Pride Month, but that's another example of the love that this community has for every member of our community. And I thought there are two great examples we had within a week's time that shows what an inclusive and diverse community Toms River is. A couple things that are going on in our community as we are neighbor helping neighbor has been our food distribution. This has taken place every Friday since April 10th. And we're going to continue that for this week and probably the next couple weeks and end it probably on the 26th of June, because we are seeing the numbers go down a little bit. We are seeing people return to work, and as businesses open, people are starting to go back to work and they might not need that assistance. We will always have Fulfill and the food bank on Hooper Avenue to be available. And then a lot of our churches and organizations like Just Believe and Hope Sheds Light that do a lot in our community. So for this week, the food distributions will be at the same 5 locations, but I would say for the coming weeks of the 19th and the 26th, due to some of the renovations at the schools and due to us consolidating for the general public to watch out for our press releases so they can see what locations they're going to be for those. Something that's helping our small businesses is the steps we took at our last council meeting for outdoor dining for our restaurants. We have approximately 12 of them that have either put in a permit, they've either been approved, they've had to tweak it a little bit, but I would encourage them to keep on putting those permits and opening those business. I know Mr. Roberts and Mr. Chinkalian and their staff have been really putting this front and center because they know how important it is to get the small businesses back up and running and also to get our economy going here. If anybody has any questions, they can reach out to our business owners can reach out to anyone in the council. We can guide you right to the right person that can answer your questions and get those permits approved as soon as possible as they quickly can. Another thing we approved tonight was to accept a grant program from the county for our census. And census has come along every 10 years. 2020 is a census year, and it's important for everyone in our community to fill out that census. Whether you're a resident, whether you're undocumented, homeless population, we have to have everybody counted because that's how we get money back in for services that we can provide for our residents. So I'm sure we'll be hearing a little bit more come out of our planning department with the grant monies from the census or anything else we could do. We've all received the cards in the mail. They give you like a little white postcard. There's a number on it. You can go right online. It takes just a couple minutes. I'd urge everyone to fill out that census card, fill it out online. If not, they will have census canvassers within the community that probably starts around August or September. They'll be knocking on your doors to get that information if you had not sent that in. But I'm urging everyone to send that in. The governor had lifted a couple of things from his executive orders, and one was for indoor gatherings. They're at 10 right now, and as of today, that has gone to 50 or 25%, whichever is the least amount. So hopefully, our next council meeting, we'll be able to be back in our LMH room to do our council meeting there, have members of the public attend. There will be the 6 weeks social distancing. Like I said, hopefully for the 23rd, everything stays the same. If not, definitely for our meeting, our first meeting in July. And last but not least, it's kind of been birthday week around here. I just would like to wish Councilwoman York happy birthday. Her birthday was yesterday. And I know on Friday, our administrator, Mr. guardian will be celebrating a birthday. So happy birthday goes out to him. And that's all I have. What I'd like to do is open it up for public comment. Destiny, do we have anyone that has sent in a question? Or we can have them call in, you can put them through as a call in. I'm sorry, Destiny, we're gonna have,
Can you repeat that?
can you repeat that for us, please?
We have 2 participants so far that have called in, so we just need to let them into the meeting to hear them.
Okay. Will that be Mr. Jennings?
Yes, Council President, letting one in now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please have your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, yes. This is Dean Gresick, Gresick. I'm also not just a resident, but a business owner here at downtown, of course. I know a lot of you, and I want to thank Mr. Mayor as well as the council to be here. And also particularly for Mr. Mayor's announcement that he had the push with the governor, which is very, very dear to me as well as a lot of business owners and friends that we have downtown here regarding our seniors in the 2020 class. We do a lot for our juveniles, as a lot of people know me in my law office. And it hits really dear to heart that they're not having any celebration this year. And I don't know if everybody knows this, but South Toms River, as well as Beechwood, their heroes are doing something very special for their Toms River South class. And I would hope, and I ask that the council, and hopefully with the mayor's help, to do an initiative and take that to heart to do the same. And what that is they're doing actually a march, or like I should say a drive-by, the houses of the seniors. And Beechwood, like I said, he is doing it, as well as South Toms River. And I would hope that we can do the same thing here for not just Toms River South, of course, but for Toms River East, Toms River North, and to celebrate and honor them, because it's very special, because we don't know the uncertainty of Trenton and what the governor may do or may not do. But these seniors, of course, we all know on how it is to graduate, whether it's a GED or getting that diploma. And for not having that, that hits home. And there's with sports and that being taken away, I think it's very important. And it would show, of course, Toms River is just, of course, holding its hand out like Toms River, South Toms River is, as well as Beechwood, to honor our graduates. So I would hope that we can do something in the same way. And I understand that, of course, Beechwood and South Toms River can be the lead to help us on whatever we need to do if we can do the same, because, of course, with Chief Little and everything that he, as well as Mayor Hill, does for us, I think this would be a task that we could certainly do and do just as good or even better. So I would hope that the council would take an initiative to try to get this to happen, because they graduate this Friday.
Thank you, Mr. Gresick, on that. I'm sure the mayor would reach out to our neighboring municipalities and see if there's any way we can to do. I know some of the high schools over at High School East, they didn't adopt a senior. Members adopted a senior and just got them just a little something special. I know that you see signs out for every graduating class and things like that. And I do feel for them. I think we all feel for them and what they're missing out at this special time in their lives. But we can definitely take that into consideration and see if there's anything we can do. Do you have anything else, Mr. Gresick? Mayor Hill?
No, that was.
Yeah, I just want to add that I have a granddaughter who's going into intermediate school, so she's in 5th grade. I have a grandson who's leaving 8th grade, starting high school. And I just want to salute the Toms River teachers who are driving around to their students' homes on their own time and dropping off certificates and honoring those graduating. Even the kindergartners and the first grade teachers, the element, doesn't mean that they're graduating, but you see signs all around town for the fifth graders, the eighth graders, and the seniors. But I also want to recognize those teachers who are going out of their way in the different cycles and element in the intermediate school. I know my grandson had 3 of his teachers drive by to present him his sign and a little gift. It meant a lot. I still would like to see these children, particularly the seniors, have a celebration. I think it's grossly unfair, and I cannot logically explain why it can't be done. And it's upsetting to me, and I'm sure it must be upsetting to our seniors who, like I say, have already missed a third of their senior year, prom, sports, activities, everything else. So trust me, I hear you, but I do want to send out a special recognition to those teachers in our Toms River school system that are going above and beyond.
Thank you, Mayor. And Mr. Gretzik?
Yes, I think I really appreciate that, Mr. Mayor, and absolutely the teachers have done a wonderful job. That's why I'm saying it's hopefully we can keep the ball moving, as we say in sports terms, that the local officials or council members, of course, help of Chief Little, as well as our EMTs, which they did a great job, like I said to you, in Beechwood and South Toms River, to make it up and beyond to do what the teachers are doing, to honor those that deserve honor. And I think it would go a long way, especially as we know the depression and not just with the loss of school, but also making that big step to the next step, where there's a lot of pressure, as we know, not only financially, but the next years of your life are troubling and hard ahead of you, not knowing what you're going to do. And seeing our local heroes honor you, even if it's just a drive-by like a lot of people have been doing just for birthdays, et cetera, I think it goes a long way. But absolutely, Mr. Mayor, the teachers should be commended, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gretzik. Destiny, or Mr. Jennings, can we let in our next caller, please?
Yes, Council President.
Hello, how you doing? My name is Art Anderson. I live at 12 Park Street. And my question is, can you explain Resolution K a little further? What is it for?
Resolution K, okay. What we have is with the private beach communities over on the barrier island. A lot of them, when we talk about beach maintenance and things of that nature, it would be breaking their beaches and things of that. Sometimes we do them with each of the individual communities. Mr. Chinkalian, is there anything else we could add into this? Because it talks about the project from Manasquan Inlet to Barnegat Inlet, and that was a beach replenishment project. So we have an easement with them. And I believe this is just for our agreement for beach maintenance with that.
Council President, yes, it's typically beach raking, sometimes removal of trash, and in the event of a storm, if we have to do some grading, sometimes the storm will leave like a dangerous cliff, so we'll run a piece of equipment out there and kind of flatten things out, but that's generally what it consists of.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Anderson?
No, that's it. I just want to thank the mayor and the council for, again, my kids have graduated already from high school, but I know what it's like for the kids that don't have that, and I condemn you. I appreciate everything these guys are doing for the kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Have a good evening. Destiny, do we have anyone else for public comment?
All right, we have one more caller.
Okay.
Coming in, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Jennings.
Hi, good evening. My name is Dana Tormolen-Jerome. I live downtown on Messenger Street. And first, I want to say how pleased we were at the job done by all the law enforcement working with the community last Tuesday. Those of us who live downtown got to see it firsthand, and we commend you for all the work that you put in and greatly appreciate it, and the members, and also appreciate the members of the community and how they responded during that time. My question then is, we have a lot of racing on Route 37, Main Street, and the Garden State Parkway since the shutdown began. It's getting worse. It's becoming a longer period of time, and I know hands are tied right now with law enforcement. You have bigger fish to fry and things to look out for right now. But we were wondering if there was a way that maybe we could start working on this before the summer actually does get fully underway to prevent injuries and worse, God forbid, because those of us who do live downtown, we're pulling out and on Route 37 with cars running through red lights, motorcycles riding wheelies down Route 37. It's alarming, it's frightening. And when you have small children in the car, it becomes, it's a hard thing to explain and to deter with, young teenagers and whatnot, and explain what could happen and what could possibly go wrong. I was just wondering if there was anything that could be taken care of in any time in the near future. And again, I appreciate all of the work that you are all putting in.
Thank you, Dana. This is something that we can reach out to our chief and our police department through the traffic safety unit there to give a little bit more attention to this. I've noticed just being on the Parkway that they have the signage that if you're over the speed limit, you're automatically going to get a court appearance. I think under the circumstances, people have kind of just throw caution to the wind and are not following the rules and regulations, especially the rules and regulations of the road. We can absolutely reach out to Chief Little, traffic safety, and see if they could do a little bit more patrolling, specifically on the streets that you mentioned, the Main Street, the Route 37 corridor, which I know this weekend it's nice weather and that's going to continue. And there's a lot of people out there on bikes. And we've always had an issue with that, but I'm sure that they will give it extra attention in the areas that need the patrols. And we could definitely look into that for you and have the chief see what they could do.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
You're quite welcome, Dana. Thank you. Destiny, do we have anyone else for public comment?
No, that is all of our public commenters tonight. Thank you.
Council's pleasure.
Move to executive or move to close the public comment portion of the meeting.
Councilman Turnback, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now move to executive session.
Councilman Turnback, I'll second that as well.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 You have to read your little. Yeah, no, you have to read what the executive session is into the record.
The agenda.
The agenda.
Oh my goodness, I almost forgot. Yes. Thank you. Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances to discuss matters requiring confidentiality and or of a privileged nature. And whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean and State of New Jersey as follows. The Township Council will now conduct a private executive session. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed and or acted upon is as follows. Matters of attorney-client privilege, contract negotiations, and personnel matters. The following specific items to be discussed and or acted upon are as follows. The Township Clerk's Office personnel and personnel issues of administration, review of status of all real property acquisitions, possible acquisition of the Surf Club property, economic conditions due to the COVID-19, and sale of public property by auction. it is anticipated that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Council that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. Motion made by Councilman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbull at 6:48 PM to go into executive session with all in favor. Thank you.
Don't you want to wait until Maria and clerk are back in?
Do we have a motion to go back into public session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And do we have a motion to adjourn, being that there's nothing to vote on?
Make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second, Councilman Downtown.
Lieutenant.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Have a good evening.
Good night.